Hi, I'm here in Smoking This and That, and we're going to meet today Guy Cummins, the owner, because so many of you have told me I really needed to meet Guy, and I can see why. Let's hear his story today on People of Northern Kentucky. Well, welcome to People of Northern Kentucky, Guy.
Thank you.
I had so many people tell me, you've got to interview Guy Cummins.
That's nice.
Because you have done so much in the community. But first, let's hear a little bit about your history. Like, where are you from?
I grew up in Connersville, Indiana. Poor white trash, and left, joined the Marine Corps. After serving the Marine Corps for 6 years, I went to school and went into the construction industry and started out as a structural engineer and opted to go ahead into construction management. And that was my success, was construction management. So I wore a suit and tie in the construction industry for 30 years.
You don't look like a suit and tie guy.
It's funny, if you go to Chicago, they would say they wouldn't even recognize me. No one's ever seen me in flip-flops and blue jeans and shorts and stuff like that. It was always in a suit. So
that's funny. Totally different life. So how long were you in the construction business?
I was in there 30 years. Yeah, I was always clean shaven, and now I shave once a week when I want to, and wear shorts and flip-flops and enjoy life. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you get from there in Chicago, you say, to here in Northern Kentucky?
When it was a life-changing experience. There was a hit-and-run accident, and I was helping somebody, and just I looked to my left, and there was a car, and it just ran right into the side of me, and left me for dead. I woke up a few months later, and in a hospital bed. Didn't know what happened. I know that I had shattered my leg in numerous places. My hip was broke. My shoulder was tore off.
Oh my goodness.
My brain had shifted a little bit, and it really messed me up pretty good. They put me back together. They did a great job. They said the probability of me walking again was like 1 in 10. And I worked out every single day. I was in a wheelchair for several years, and I just kind of made a deal. Look, let me walk again, and I'll do something cool for somebody every day. So when I got to where I could walk again, I was with 2 hand walkers, then 2 canes, and then 1 cane. And then I was sitting downtown Chicago in a pub having a martini like I would any other time. And I noticed Hurricane Sandy had hit. And I was there with some buddies, and we all kind of collaborated all our tokens from people and said, hey, let's get to getting. So we took a 1-800-RENT-ME RV and a smoker, and we went to Hurricane Sandy in New York, and it was at the Brick. And well, I didn't know a lot about Operation Barbecue Relief then, OBR. I'd heard about them, but I didn't know much about it. And one of my friends that was there with us, it was actually his smoker that was hooked to the RV. He knew a lot about them. And so when we got there, there was like 50 different groups of us all in a big circle. And it was 23 or 27,000 people, something like that we fed in 3 days. And we beat FEMA, we beat Red Cross, The National Guard was there, and we broke through their line. We fed them. And it was one of the most humbling experiences I had done in my life. To do that kind of thing, and so I liked it. Pretty cool. And then I started reading about Operation Barbecue Relief. There was a lady by the name of Mandy Johnson that was one of the original founding members of Operation Barbecue Relief, and she lived in Bolivar, Missouri. And she got a hold of me, and she wanted to come up and talk to me in Chicago. And so when she got to Chicago to meet me, whoa, this'll do. and so we hung out, and we started dating, and I would go see her, she'd come see me. And then after a while, when you're used to making that amount of money income, living in Chicago is, you better have a job, kind of thing. And so I opted to just cash out and just move further south where it's a little more cost effective. And so I told her, I'm like, look, you ever take a chance in life, let's do this, And so she got on the internet, and she found our little spread in the backside of Hebron, and nice little 3-acre place, and it's got a big shop in it, so I can tinker and do what I like to do. And my intent was I was just going to cut grass and never leave the property. And So I told her that I wanted to go get me a smoker, and that I was going to head off to Texas and pick one up, you know, no big deal. And she goes, well, that's cool. Where are you getting the money? And of course it was, you know, I'm retired, so I can't touch any of that. And she goes, here's $40, go to the junkyard and get some steel. And so I did, and it's sitting outside right now. Eileen.
So how much would the smoker have cost if you had gone to Texas?
It'd have been about $10,000 probably. I mean, knowing me, the size I would have got, it'd have been about 10 grand. And so here I am trying to build a big smoker on a $40 budget.
$40 budget.
Yeah.
You got a smart wife there.
Yeah, she's very frugal, still is to this day. And so we have what we have because of her. Make no mistake about that. And I was used to living very high on the hog, and I live very modestly now. And so I went to the junkyard, I made the smoker, and I started smoking barbecue on our property. And people started coming from, you know, the big subdivisions in Hebron, Thornwild and Treetops, which is where I got the start. They would come around the backside of the mountain there, and they would come back in the holler on a road they never even knew was there. And they would come get barbecue all the time. Well then, you know, I didn't know you had to have health permits and stuff when I first started, you know, so then, you know, I got the health department, you know, coming out, hey, what are you doing?
Just come buy some barbecue.
Yeah, and so they were cool, you know, they showed me what I had to do and how to get permits and that kind of stuff, so I went through that, I got an occupational license and all that, and there's a lot of guys that do this on the fly, and they really do need to follow those rules because it is a safeguard thing. You don't understand it until you go through it. You know, it really is protecting the public to do it right.
Yes.
And because I really was doing it very wrong. And so it was really nice, you know, the health department helped me out, and I was doing it, you know, like once a month. I would do it over a weekend, you know, kind of thing. And, you know, I was putting some pocket cash in me and get some gas in my John Deere Gator, you know, just having fun, you know. And I didn't have to borrow any from my wife, you know, which was important. You know, that's very important.
Right.
Yeah. So I was having a lot of fun doing that. And then the Friendly Market, the guy who owns that, wanted me to come out and smoke a hog for a charity thing they were doing, a fundraiser. I can't remember what the fundraiser was for, but it was for something. And I came out there and I smoked a hog, and everybody loved it. And I thought it was no big deal, you know, it wasn't that great. Kentucky doesn't have the style of barbecue that I do, is the problem. Oh. And so my style is a lot different mostly different than a lot of other places around here. And I hold true to that. Some people don't like it, and that's okay, but 99.99% do. And that's what got us to where we're at today. So I started out over there, and I would do it like 1 or 2 days. You know, he tried to talk me into going out there, and I reluctantly I went. You know, they needed help. So bringing people in there, and so I doubled in size 3 times out there. And then that was 2 years ago, and then I moved over here last November. And so I think our 3-year anniversary of actually doing this, you know, the right way is like this month, like, you know, or last month or something, somewhere in there. And since then I've built more and more smokers, and I didn't build them, my friends did. I mean, they'd all come out and hang out, listen to music, drink a beer, weld. I mean, there'd be welding trucks out there, and everybody just having a good time. And to this day, those same people that helped me get to where, or helped me and my wife get to where we're at today, and allow us to give so much back to the community, all those guys to this day have never bought barbecue. I mean, you know, right. I wouldn't charge them if I tried.
Of
you
course,
know?
they helped you get to where you were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you never forget where you've been. You always know where you're going. And so, you know, I felt kind of bad that, you know, I mean, I have to charge people for the barbecue because, you know, I got bills to pay, obviously.
Well, yes,
you
it's
know,
a business.
Our food bill's $10,000 a week. You know, I mean, it's expensive. And so.
And how many pounds of meat did you?
We're doing.
Grill?
Sometimes we hit 5,000. Sometimes it's 4,000. Sometimes it's 3. It's somewhere around there. It's a lot. It's a lot. We smoke a lot of meat every day.
And you rub it. So how much rub do you do?
We go through right about 10 gallons of rub a week.
10 gallons.
Yeah. So, you know, if you go to the store and buy a little vial of it, you know how much that costs. You know,
Right.
Imagine, you know, 2 5-gallon buckets full.
Right.
You know, we go through a lot of it. And my wife is the one, you know, I owe a lot of credit to this to my wife. You know, not only she pushed me to make the original smoker, and, you know, with the passion. My wife is also a pit master. And she doesn't work here full time or anything like that. She comes in on the weekends and stuff. She has a real job and everything, you know.
A real job?
Yeah, a real job. And bless her heart, you know, she's always been on a barbecue team, and they've won, but she's never been the person in charge of that barbecue team, so she never, like, got the trophies. So we're going to change that. I'm going to put her on the circuit and let her take one of the smokers and go have a blast. You know.
Oh, that's neat.
And it'll be so much fun for her and such a great experience. I could care less, you know. I mean, I don't really care about it. I know she does, and she wants to win, and I know she will. She's that good. She is better than I am at it. The rub that she came up with, you can make 1,000 rubs and not find one that tastes like this one. It's an accident. And hopefully you write down how you did it.
Yeah.
You know, and the way we do our wings, the little sprinkle we put on them at the end, you know, those two things are very safeguarded. My wife and I are the only two people in the world that know how to make it.
Wow.
We don't tell anybody. We make it privately, with
You
nobody
really do
around.
have a secret recipe.
Yes, it really is
Yes.
very secret.
Yeah.
We're getting into barbecue sauces here in the next month or two, and I get a little time after all these charity events throughout the summer. We'll start producing our own barbecue sauce, which would be nice. She's got 3 or 4 different versions she's already done, and they're wonderful. I've tried them. There's one that's really hot, and I'm not a big hot guy, so we'll leave that one out of the mix, but she likes that stuff. The coleslaw design that we do, that's all her. The barbecue tacos, soft shell taco with, you know, pork or brisket on it, a little drizzle of barbecue sauce, our homemade coleslaw, and then the homemade avocado sauce on top of it is the killer. When you take a bite of that, it magically does something. It's crazy, and that's probably our #1 seller, and our ribs and wings are probably #2.
And that taco is something she came up with.
She came up with it. I was welding on the smoker, the brick and mortar smoker, and I had a helmet on and gloves, and you know, I was drinking a toddy and welding and having a good time, and like I would normally. And she come up there with lunch, walking from the house up to the shop, like she always does, and she goes, "Honey, you know, you've been getting after it. You need to eat something now." Okay, so I flipped the helmet up, and I turned my head to the left, and she had one of them tacos rolled up, because she knows I won't eat avocado or guacamole at all.
So
she hit it.
You.
She did. And I've never liked it. You know, I've
Yeah.
tried it, I just don't like it. And
Yeah.
so I took a bite, and my God, honey, I said, "That's really good." I said, "What you got in there?" She opened it up, and there it was. We've been selling them ever since, you know, so. And now we do smoked green beans, we do smoked tater tots, chocolate-covered bacon.
Whoa, wait, back up.
Chocolate-covered smoked bacon.
Oh my goodness.
It's a white chocolate and a dark chocolate, and some of our rub, and some of our a blend of oil that we make, and we heat that all up, and then while we're doing that, we're smoking the bacon out there in a nice crispy state, and we dip it in there, and OMG, is it good? It's
that
good.
sounds great.
It's really good. We sell like it's a drug deal, you know. It's awesome. It's really good stuff.
And you even do like smoked ice for bourbon and things like
Yeah,
that? Or is
we don't have a liquor license. We have a beer license.
Yeah.
We have a great variety of beers and stuff. And we don't want to do liquor. I don't want this place to be a bar. It does have a bar, but it's like old school, like an eatery bar.
Yeah.
You know, and you can have a beer, and that's okay,
With
you know, with your
barbecue.
family. You
Yeah,
can have
yeah.
beer and barbecue goes together
Yeah.
great. I'm not a big fan of a lot of people sitting around here just getting liquored up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It kind of spoils a family atmosphere.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep it family no
That's
matter
awesome.
what. So getting a liquor license is no issue.
Yeah.
I just don't want one. And we don't stay open late at night, you know, 10 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays, 9 o'clock the rest of the nights. You know, we don't stay open late, you know, families are home in bed. You know, we don't
Yes.
need that bar scene. So we have bluegrass on Fridays and Saturdays, you know, which is awesome.
Sounds fun.
It seems to be like a hub for bluegrass now, and they just come and play, and it's awesome, and people love
is
them.
awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, where was I at? The
Well, first we'll go back to you have 3 smokers.
yeah, I got
now?
3 smokers. The first one we built was called Eileen. My wife named it that. The next one is brick and mortars, because Eileen just couldn't keep up with what I was doing at all, not even close. And it's a big smoker, and anybody's
It's like
right.
double barrel or
Yeah, it's a
something,
big
isn't
one. We can smoke a couple thousand pounds at a time on it. You know, it's really big. And that one's called brick and mortars. And she named it that because we needed a brick and mortars in order to have a real legitimate business, you know. So now we have a catering license, we do events, and, you know, we only do events that we believe in. We don't do fairs and that kind of
And
stuff.
what'd you say the name of the third one was?
The third one is the levitator. And the levitator, I come up with this brainy idea that to have one trailer, because getting trailers, you know, my wife taught me to be a real tight behind. And so I try to find used trailers. And so I found one good one, and I got it right. And it's really strong. And so what I wanted to do is make smokers that could lift themselves off the trailer automatically, and then have one trailer and a bunch of smokers like that. And so that's what we're in production on
That's
now,
what's
is
called
making
electric.
those. And it's made of 5/8 inch thick steel. And it's made of 5/8 inch thick steel. And it's heavy. It weighs a lot. And definitely electric brakes on the trailer. You definitely want to stop this thing. So, so what it does is you take electric impact and, it just lifts itself up in the air, and then you take the trailer up underneath of it. It's pretty cool. And we're getting ready to go to an event today to do that.
Yes, and I saw some other pieces out there where you're fixing to build
Right.
fourth.
There's all kinds of people that come in here, and you get to know them, and you become their friends, and it's just a constant influx of people, and they get to meet other people, and this is a real good hub for just good people, and so this guy's got that, and that guy's got that, and you just, everybody barters things out and stuff. And so a buddy of mine, Zach Johnson, he keeps telling me about this tank that he's got in his yard. I go out there and look. This thing's like, it's stupid huge.
Yeah.
It's 3.5 feet in diameter. It's 20 feet long, or 26 feet long, something like that. I don't know. It's monstrous. And so I got to sit on a trailer outside, waiting to find a minute to get it out to my shop so I can start making that smoker. And it'll be one that lifts up too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the reason everybody was telling me that I should interview you. It's because you have given back so much to the community. I think veterans, but then also just all kinds of organizations.
Yeah, all veterans. If you're active duty, you get 20% off. Chances are, and I say that, but I don't think I've ever charged somebody 20% off. It comes in here in uniform. I just buy their dinner. But we always say 20% off on anybody's active duty, 20% off on any law enforcement or fireman that comes in here in uniform. And if you're off duty or any kind of veteran, you get 10% off across the board. So every veteran that comes in here, they say they're a veteran, they always get 10% off. And that's not just for them, that's for their whole family. I want these people to, it's hard to go out there and spend money like that to go out to eat. And so our prices are affordable, so you can take your family out and not hit and get. You sit and relax and do it like a diner was when you were a kid, like it used to be, and where everybody knew everybody, and that's what we've mirrored this off of. And so as long as, my wife told me, you want to go down this road of doing this restaurant thing, go ahead. It better not cost no money. and it hasn't yet, and I've held true to the $40, and everything's parlayed into everything else. We've never borrowed money. We don't owe any money. We pay our bills every week. Our food bill's paid, our taxes are paid, our employees are paid. Everything's done every single week like clockwork. As long as I don't go in the red, I can do what I want to do, or we can do what we want to do. And so last week was one of the craziest charity weeks I've done in a long time. We had the Matt Maupin ride, if you know who Keith Maupin is.
Yes.
Keith is a fellow Marine whose son gave the ultimate sacrifice. And it took years to get him home, and God bless Keith for pursuing it to get him home, or at least most of him home. And they had Matt Maupin's ride last Sunday, and anybody who went to it, we fed them for free.
That was a large ride.
That was a big ride. That was a lot of people there, and I did it last year, and I did it this year, and you can bet your bottom dollar, as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to do it next year. Keith and I are such good friends, and he's a fellow Marine, and now I'm on the board of directors of Yellow Ribbon Support Center, which is awesome. Great organization. I believe in it with all my heart and soul. He's just a guy that just gives, all the time, and he comes in here like at least once a week. I mean, the guy's here all the time. Another one was the celebrity softball thing at the Florence Freedom Park. There's a charity group that comes in and actually rents the park from Florence Freedom. And they had for children's hospital, they were raising money, and we fed all them too. And so we did right about the $10,000 mark of donations last week.
So
and
last week.
Yeah, last week. Now we ain't doing that every week. I'm telling you right now, we can't
I'm
afford
sure
to do
Mandy
that.
would put a stop to that.
Yeah, when I posted that for the first time, we broke a record. We did over $10,000. She questioned me like, really? Oh my God, what are we doing? And so she obviously worries about me giving too much, that we can't turn around and pay our bills.
Right.
And we don't ever want to be in that position, and we're not. We're doing just fine. We're not getting rich by any fathom of imagination. Everybody's like, they see the influx of people in here and stuff. What they don't see and what we don't talk about 90% of the time is all the stuff we do. Whether somebody dying of cancer. There was a lady that has got stage 4 cancer. We had a fundraiser here for, I don't know, a couple months ago, and we set it up in like 2 or 3 weeks, and it was like $10,000 or $12,000 or something. I can't remember the number, but they're very high thousands every one we do, you know.
Wow.
And every time I don't post about, you know, stupid things. I try to post about, you know, something good in the community going on in this restaurant. Come out there and help, and they do. We fill St. E's parking lot, the dermatology, this place down through here, the car wash next door. I mean, it is massively packed of cars, and it's massively packed in here of people that just come here and give. And that's the true sense of where barbecue, when I think of barbecue when I was a kid, you know, that's when, you know, your family and friends came together. And how do you feed them all? You feed them with a chunky piece of meat like a brisket or something, you know, that you cook for, you know, 20 hours, and you make it stretch, and you make coleslaw, and you make green beans and smoked beans. And
So to
know,
you, barbecue means community.
It's definitely community and family, yeah. And I am so, I'm so privileged and so in awe and so humbled that I can't go anywhere around here at all without running into somebody, you know. On my way here this morning, you know, dude at the stoplight, Guy, what's going on? Hey, buddy, looking good, you know. And you know, we do post 4, you know, we give to them every single week. Any food we have left over, we take it out to post 4. Those veterans, you know, they need every break they can get too. And it's endless. I don't, Roger Babick, Master Provisions, you know, we donate to there a lot, which is a great organization.
Yes, it is.
Every fireman's retirement party, golf outing, police department golf outing, retirement party, fallen officer. You know, we had an officer that, without digressing, they needed a bunch of food and for a funeral and to help raise money for their kids' college and stuff. And we did all those. And you know, we don't do proceeds. You know, we don't say the proceeds go to this. You know, I can't ask you to come out and donate your money if I'm not donating money. If I don't have any skin in the game, why would you come out here? We give the food to them. I mean, I buy the food and I pay taxes on it and I purchase it.
Wow.
And then we give it all to them. You know, that's straight money out of your pocket. And so we don't say, you know, well, whatever it costs us is what it's going to cost you. That's not given. That's just being nice. That way, maybe a little
Way
bit.
beyond
you know.
what
Yeah.
most restaurants
So,
would do.
and that's because of my wife Mandy. You know, and she affords us to do that, and she supports me in doing it, and she is a huge supporter of it. Our staff here is amazing. I mean, we have the best staff around. There's good people that work here, and there's no worries. I can come and go. You know, there's just so many people I'm involved with in this community now. It's humbling.
Thank you for joining us today. Every Thursday at 10 a.m., get to know your neighbor by catching a new edition of People of Northern Kentucky.